The calendar has turned to the month of September, which could only mean one thing. The NFL season kicks off in just a few days. And today we continue our 2025 NFL team previews to talk about the AFC West division. So welcome back to VinConn Sports Talk. This is episode number 52. My name is Vinny Martin, joined as always by a guy who just knows ball. He just knows a lot about football. That being, of course, my good friend Connor Swanson. Connor, good morning. Happy September.
Good morning. Thank you.
Do you have your cup of coffee ready to go for today's episode?
I don't drink coffee, but definitely had some water this morning, so I'm feeling ready.
So those non-caffeine drinkers, all they need is water, and they're ready to go. I envy you. I have my coffee, or I had my coffee, as you could tell. So I am ready to go and talk about the AFC West. We only have 8 teams left to talk about in our team previews, so we will continue on with a pretty exciting, interesting division, I would say. So are you ready to get this thing going?
Yeah, man. I mean, we're 3 days away.
3 days
from football,
away,
man.
We've waited way too long.
Way too long. Let's get into it. Let's talk some ball, man, and let's inch closer to that kickoff on Thursday night.
Yeah, let's do it. So I'm going to be leading us off today talking about the worst team in the AFC West from a year ago, that being the Las Vegas Raiders. They came in with a record of 4-13. That's obviously good for fourth place. They did miss the playoffs, but a lot of changes in Vegas in the offseason. A lot of very interesting ones, too, though. So we'll get right into that. First of all, it starts at the top with the head coach, Pete Carroll, the former Seahawks legendary head coach, one of the best coaches in NFL history, you could argue. And he comes in, after retirement. He comes out of retirement to take on the task of coaching the Raiders. So kind of an interesting decision there from Pete Carroll. But he's there, and he brings along his good buddy, his good pal from the Seattle days, Geno Smith. Okay, Geno Smith coming over from the Seahawks in a trade, and he is going to be the starting quarterback for the Raiders. So very interesting stuff there. And then the draft. One of the most flashy, exciting picks of the entire NFL draft. Boise State college football phenom Ashton Jeanty, the running back, comes in. And, I mean, he's going to be the guy right away. He is the offense coming in. I mean, he is going to be just the guy that every opposing team that they play is going to have circled in their game plan. How do we slow down Ashton Jeanty? Despite having not a great preseason, by the way, but he's going to be fine and ready to go. He is an absolute stud. So definitely a lot of changes for the Raiders. So what did they add in the offseason? We talked about Geno Smith coming over in a trade. They get Alex Kappa to help out that offensive line. Jermaine Pratt, Eric Stokes, and Jamal Adams, and another guy from Seattle coming over. And then Jeremy Chin, remember that name?
Carolina Panther.
Carolina Panther.
He's been around the league, though, yeah.
He has been around, and then Raheem Mostert comes in to be the backup running back for them. And then a pretty notable move as well. We haven't talked about Max Crosby. He gets an extension. I feel like all these pass rushers this offseason, they're like, oh, they're all going to change teams. They're all going to change teams. Well, they all stayed on the same team.
Except for Micah Parsons.
Except for Micah. Well, yeah, we know what happened there. Except for Micah Parsons. But you talk about TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, and Max Crosby all getting extended, and Trey Hendrickson.
He's even going to be there, yeah.
All staying on the same team, which is crazy. The Raiders in 2025, in the big year, 2025, I think they're going to be better than 4-13. I will start off by saying that. This team is kind of intriguing. The defense definitely got a little better. The offense should get better. We need to talk about their second-year tight end, obviously, Brock Bowers, who, emerged into probably a top 3 tight end in the league already after his rookie year. So what do you got going on for the Raiders? Can they make a significant leap and maybe compete for a wild card spot? What do you think?
Yeah, so I think, they have the chance to do something like that. They have the chance to make a run, a bit of a shock to people. Geno Smith is a huge upgrade for them at quarterback, and that's kind of the biggest change that they made. I think that's even more important than the Ashton Jeanty draft move. Like, yes, Genty's going to come in and be a fantastic workhorse back, but you have a quarterback who has, at least 2 years ago, he proved that he had the ability to go out there and have a good season with the Seahawks. And maybe we haven't seen it on a consistent basis from him, but I think the talent is there, and it's definitely an upgrade from the likes of Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and the mess they had there the last couple of seasons. So do I think they're going to be a playoff team? No. Do I think it would be crazy if they get to 8 wins? No, it's definitely possible. I mean, you mentioned Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers alone. I mean, that's enough to at least get you one or two more wins than a team that's pretty bad like yourselves. And then defense, obviously, it's gonna be able to hold teams when they need them. Sometimes Max Crosby can carry a defense, carry a team when he needs to. So it's not the best defense around him, but when you have some of those standout players on both sides of the ball, it definitely helps your chances at winning games. They don't have a hard schedule either. Okay, this division, you look at who they're playing, and it's not like you're facing crazy opponents. Yes, you're gonna have to face the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Chargers, right? That's probably the worst part about this. But outside of that, I mean, they really don't face any of the tough divisions. I mean, when we were talking about the NFC East, the NFC North, their schedules were much tougher than what we're talking about here in the AFC West. The Raiders have plenty of opportunities to go out there and get wins, and I definitely do think their record is going to be an improvement from last year.
Yeah, and by the way, two more recent additions that, of course, weren't on the NFL website because the NFL website sucks. They brought in Amari Cooper, returning back home. Well, I guess it was Oakland when he played there last, but returning back to the Raiders organization. And then Kenny Pickett, backup quarterback, he comes in.
And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. I mean, you mentioned Amari Cooper, the receiver room there. Jacoby Myers, he wanted to trade. He might be getting traded. So we're gonna see what happens with that. I mean, week one is, we just mentioned it, 3 days away. So I'm not sure if that's gonna end up happening, but I think that was kind of why they made that move for Amari Cooper, expecting that they were gonna move Jacoby Myers. But at the end of the day, they haven't done that yet, so we're gonna have to wait and see. I will say they also did draft two rookie wide receivers, Jack Betch and Dante Thornton, who both should be making impacts on the field in their rookie season. So again, if Jacoby Myers gets traded, I mean, look out for those rookies to step up, especially in early weeks, and kind of prove themselves for who's going to get more playing time. But yeah, definitely an interesting team. A lot of youth on that team that I think is good for them. A lot of potential that they can try and build up throughout the course of the season. But definitely not a team that is out there to compete for a division title or anything in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. If you want to jump into our record predictions for the Las Vegas Raiders here. So at the end of the day, coaching is going to be better. Quarterback's room is much, much better. And they have a lot of studs on the offense. But I think this division, actually, it used to be a pretty bad division, but I think the division's really, really good now. I don't think they're going to win a game in the division. I really don't. I mean, the other three teams are just so much better. So I do have the Raiders coming in at 5-12, and it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be a bad 5-12. I think they're going to have some games where they're close, where they're in games. But it's just kind of, it's definitely the start of like a new era in Vegas, and as long as you're competing, I think they're going to be happy. So
yeah, and I mean, you mentioned them not being able to beat a team in the division. I could see them taking one against the Chargers, right? I don't think the Chargers are a powerhouse this year. But yeah, again, it could easily go the other way as well, like you said, where the Chargers could sweep them, and I don't see them touching the Broncos or the Chiefs this year. So, going to be tough for them. I have them at 6-11, one game better than you, but in the same ballpark here, and it's going to be interesting to see. I'm especially excited to see Geno Smith utilize Ashton Genty and see if we get any Marshawn Lynch deja vu with the way he's utilized. So, going to be fun for sure, but yeah, not a playoff team this year, unfortunately, for Las Vegas.
No. Yeah, they're fun though. They're fun.
Fun. Yeah.
That's all you could ask for, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you take us over to our next squad here and see
what we're gonna move on to a team that kind of shocked people last year, right? Like the Denver Broncos, led by first-year quarterback Bo Nix a season ago, out of Oregon, my guy. Finished 10-7, their first winning season since 2016, if you can believe it. They lost to the Bills in the wild card round. But, all things considered, this was a very successful year for them. Having Sean Payton here in his second year last year, it was a very good performance for him. So now, going into Sean Payton's third year with the team, Bo Nix's second year with the team, now expectations are even higher, I think. I mean, you come off a 10-7 season with a rookie quarterback that wasn't even expected to be anything special compared to the other guys that were drafted around him. And he went out and he balled out. So now going into year two, I do think this team is going to have to try and perform better than they did last year, or else it will be seen as a disappointment. So Bo Nix Obviously, he's going to be the starting quarterback. In the draft, they went out and got another corner, okay? On a defense that you wouldn't think needed anything else, they went out and got a corner in the first round, Jahdae Barron out of Texas. It was just kind of where the draft fell to them. It was like he was the best player on the board, and they said, you know what? Why not go out there and bolster our defense even more? And then another notable draft pick that was made in the second round, the running back out of UCF, RJ Harvey, a guy who should be expected to be on the field right away in week one, competing or maybe even splitting touches with his running back counterpart, who we will get to in a second. So, key adds, right, in free agency over the offseason. They added tight end Evan Ingram, right? This is a guy who comes over from Jacksonville after having a bit of a down year last year, but 2 seasons ago he was all over the place. He was balling out. He had a fantastic year with them. So, he still has the talent for sure, and I think that'll be good for Bo Nix. I mean, we saw last year, the Broncos really only had Courtland Sutton. And, of course, they had the running backs that they tried to throw the ball to. But at the end of the day, it was Courtland Sutton, and then the other receivers didn't really do much. The tight ends really didn't do much. So I think Evan Ingram's going to provide almost like a safety net for Bo Nix. We already saw it in one of the preseason games. He had a big catch. So definitely going to be fun to watch that. The running back counterpart that I mentioned earlier is going to be J.K. Dobbins, a guy that a lot of people know. He's dealt with injuries throughout his career, but when he's healthy, he can be a very solid back. So it's going to be interesting to see there if they kind of split 50-50, if R.J. Harvey starts out as the true backup and then tries to work his way to the main role as we go on. Other adds, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, obviously coming over from San Francisco, and then safety Talanoa Hufanga, sorry if I mispronounced that, coming over from the 49ers, but very good young safety there. On the flip side, flip it around, they did lose some pieces, all right? Running back Javonte Williams, linebacker Cody Barton, quarterback Zach Wilson, and punter Riley Dixon. So punters, there's a lot of punters on the move this year.
Punter movement. What is going on?
But whatever. And then another quick note, one of their star middle linebackers, Alex Singleton, he's going to be returning from an ACL injury he suffered last year. So hopefully getting him back into the form that the Broncos are used to seeing him play at. That'll be very good for the defense. So Broncos team that I have a lot of faith in this year. I'm very optimistic they can have another playoff season and maybe get, into that divisional round and get past what they got last year. But when you're looking at this team, Vinny, do you see the offense taking a step forward, or do you think they're going to take a step back? I mean, we saw it with, of course, CJ Stroud had the injuries, but there was a bit of a sophomore slump there. And now Bo Nix being a guy who wasn't even as highly touted as a prospect coming into his first year. Can we expect him to maintain that level of play in year 2, or is he going to kind of come back down to earth to what people were thinking he was going to be after the draft?
See, there is definitely a window for regression here for the Broncos offense, but I don't want to see it happen, and I'm going to say on the podcast that I don't think it is going to happen. I think the Broncos offense is going to get better because they bring in a guy like Evan Ingram. I mean, just having that second reliable guy to throw the ball to. I mean, Mims last year was pretty good, but having that second reliable guy like a safety net, you said, makes a big difference. I think the running back room is going to be much better. It's still nothing to write home about, but their running back situation has just been really bad the past a long time. It's just been a mess, and I think J.K. Dobbins, if he stays healthy, is a reliable guy, and then R.J. Harvey has a lot of potential too. So I think the offense will get better. But the reason why this team is so good, obviously, is the defense. And you said they draft another corner. They already have the crazy no-fly zone there. And then they bring in Hufanga and Greenlaw from the 49ers, who are two staples of that really elite 49ers defense too. They come in. I mean, is this the best? This is the best defense in football. Can you disagree with that?
It's this or Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and I think it's very close. I think Pittsburgh might have more stars on the defense, right, if you will. But I think Denver overall, when you actually break it down and look at it, I think their defense is just a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is absolutely electric. They're so fun to watch. They're my favorite defense to watch, at least, because, Pat Surtain, we're big Pat Surtain guys here.
Yeah.
Best corner in the league, maybe, definitely.
100%.
100%.
So,
yeah, this team, I think, I'm just going to come out and say it. This is my dark horse Super Bowl team in 2025.
All right.
They are. I think
Okay.
If there's a team outside of the ones you would expect that can make a Super Bowl run, I'm going with Denver.
I don't hate it at all. So hey, Super Bowl run possibly. You got to have a good record for them. What's your record for this team here in 2025?
Yeah, so you are right. You do have to have a good record for it, and I'm going pretty bold with my record prediction for Denver. I'm going 12-5. And is this like the best offense in the league? Not by any means. The defense is so good. Defense wins championships. I have them beating the Chiefs at home, and I just have everything clicking for Denver this year. I cannot wait to watch this team. I am so excited for them.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I have them at 11-6. I think they have all the potential in the world this year. Playoff run is definitely on the table. I think it should happen. I think they should at least get through the divisional round, obviously barring a super unfortunate matchup, which might end up happening, because if they don't win the division, you're going to be facing a pretty tough team in that first round. So it's going to be, I think, a tough playoff schedule for the Broncos, but I think they have the talent to match up and beat anybody, especially if they're the 5 seed. We say it all the time, right? If you're in the AFC and you're the 5 seed, it's a very good spot for you, because you're playing likely the AFC South
Texans
winner. Yeah. So, which we said it last year though, and the Chargers got absolutely run out of the building somehow. So
but
maybe we're wrong, but I would like that matchup for the Broncos if you're facing the Texans in the first round of the playoffs.
They'd smoke them. They would smoke them. But,
so 12. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say we both have the Broncos doing very well. So this dark horse Super Bowl team, man. Get it, dark horse, because they're horses. They're Broncos.
Yeah. What are they? Like stallions, Mustangs? Technically, I don't know.
They're Broncos.
Oh yeah.
That's their name.
I forgot that was like an. All right. Anyways,
move on.
Yes, very good Broncos.
No, they shouldn't. Yeah, me too.
The Chiefs, they have Patrick Mahomes, and that's the star power that they have, right? But the Broncos, I think, they're just a well-oiled machine, man, and they're going to be able to compete with just about anybody in the league.
Yeah. All right. So very exciting team, but we'll move on to a team that I really just don't like. Okay. Sorry. I feel like
to get it out there.
You say that like I love every team, but like there's a few teams that I just like don't like, and this is one of them.
A few of them out of 32 teams.
The Colts are one of them.
Yep.
And then the second one is the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay. Because they just choke every single year, and it makes me mad. And they get you all excited, and they just blow it. So what did they do last year? They were 11-6 somehow, and they actually had a really good year last year. I will give them that. They were second in the AFC West, but like we mentioned, they were the 5 seed. They went into Houston. They were favored, and they lost. They got blown out by the Texans.
That made me mad.
And it made me really mad.
We hated the Texans last year. Maybe that's why you hate them. Because they lost to a team that you hated. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, really? Like, that's how it's going to end for you guys? Like, after that great year?
What are we doing?
They do have Jim Harbaugh as a head coach. So, one of the best head coaches. Yeah, one of the best head coaches in the NFL, for sure. And then they have Justin Herbert as the quarterback. In my opinion, not one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But it's still
Which is weird, because he had so much potential coming out of college. I think he was very hyped up his first few years, and we just never saw him take that next step.
Yeah, and Herbert he's very talented, and he's always had weapons around him. Last year would have been the first case for saying Herbert had no weapons around him, but then he did because Ladd McConkey broke out. So, I mean, Justin Herbert, you're kind of running out of time in my book. You got to win a playoff game soon, or else, I'm going to be totally out on you, bro. But they did bring in a stud in the draft by the name of Omarion Hampton, the running back, out of UNC. My guy. I know.
Benny loves that guy.
I do love him. So I'm excited for seeing what he can do. He is going to be maybe splitting touches with Najee Harris, who they brought in, but I don't think so. I think Omarion Hampton's going to be the guy very quickly. And Najee Harris, what's the deal? He did something weird with an injury, like something with his eye?
It was... Okay, so the initial reports were that he blew up a firework, and that's how he hurt his eye. And then so he didn't practice, and then he came back, and he's been at practice recently. And now they're saying he's possibly on track to play week 1, but in what capacity, we're not sure. And like you said, is he going to be the starter, or is it going to be a split backfield? I'd imagine Omarion Hampton is the full-time starter week 1, and Najee Harris will kind of end up being the backup, just because you can't get hurt with a firework over the summer, not be at training camp, not be able to do anything during the preseason, and then just come in and think you're RB1. Not when you're Najee Harris. Maybe when you're Bijan Robinson, or some of the guys out there, but not if you're Najee Harris.
Not when you're Najee Harris.
No,
and especially not when you have an exciting first round running back coming in.
Exactly. You draft him to be a playmaker. You don't draft him to sit on the bench, right?
Yeah. So that's kind of the story there. Very interesting situation. But to go into who they added in the offseason, Najee Harris is one of them. Tyler Conklin, former New York Jet tight end, he comes
Oh my
in.
gosh, Tyler Conklin.
Tyler
I love
Conklin.
that guy.
Another former New York Jet, Mekhi Becton, the guard. He's a massive dude. He is one of the biggest dudes in the NFL. Just absolutely huge. But he was a former first rounder, but he kind of fell off a little bit. But he's in there. Dante Jackson and Benjamin St. Juste, a pair of two cornerbacks there in the door. Honestly, a lot of names that I like saying. Not that they're like the best players, but like they're just flashy names. I don't know.
I don't know how much. I don't know how much that's going to do for their team, but
No. But we have to be nice to them because I started off being pretty mean to the Chargers. So, who did they lose? J.K. Dobbins, we just mentioned, he's in Denver. Joshua Palmer, another guy that I just don't like because I feel like every time I've had a Chargers receiver on my team, Joshua Palmer is just stealing receptions from him. I don't know. He's in Buffalo now though.
I don't know how well he'll do in Buffalo, but we'll see.
Probably not great. To be honest,
He'll probably be on the field because it's
he will be on the
Shakir,
field.
Coleman, and probably him. Honestly,
yeah. Good for him though. Good for Josh Palmer. Joey
Shout out
Bosa,
Josh.
also in Buffalo. He's
Wow.
out the door.
This is sad, man.
I know. Morgan Fox, Christian Fulton, and Asante Samuel Jr. all out the door. So they lose two cornerbacks. They bring in two cornerbacks. And then another cornerback, Elijah Molden, he gets a 3-year extension. So good for him. Good for the team. The Chargers, man. I mean, what is there to say? I think this is an average football team.
I think this is the most average football team you can get.
It's so average. Because,
Like very middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like,
in my opinion, defense isn't bad, but it's also not good. The offense, Herbert he's in that mid category. Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's getting into that mid category for me. Maybe slightly above it. But
I feel like we the last couple years we've talked about the Chargers as a above average team in the AFC. We're like they're like a team that should be in the playoffs. Justin Herbert at the helm, and it's like they've fallen down to all right. They're mid. They're going to be a team that they have Justin Herbert, and that's about it.
Yeah, and but they were 11-6. Why were they 11-6 last year in your mind? What went right for them?
I mean, Ladd McConkey ended up being absolutely incredible, and the defense was still playing very good, even though all of its stars were aging.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to repeat that, especially with Denver getting better, and I think the AFC just in general is a little bit better. So I do have the Chargers regressing and kind of falling back down to earth and missing.
So what's the record? What's the record?
Okay.
Let's do the record.
Wow. Okay, that was aggressive. What if I don't want to right now?
Well, you're talking about them missing the playoffs, having a worse record than last year. So I'm saying, why not just throw it up?
Okay, you know what? Yeah, we'll move this thing along for you guys. I have them in at 9-8. Okay, and that might. I mean, I wanted to make them worse, but I do think they will win some games. I mean, they're very well coached, and like you said, the AFC West schedule is a bit favorable for all the teams. So, 9-8. I think that's where they fall.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've been very similar and very like-minded on all of this, and that continues here. I have them at 8-9, so just a one-game flip-flop. But really, this team is probably in that 7-10 win range, which I feel like, even with the 11 win season a year ago, like they still felt like a 7-10 win team. Like it's not like they're a team that's going to go out there and look like they're an automatic playoff team. They're going to have some weeks where they look good, and Justin Herbert's going to be slinging the ball and he's going to throw for 300 yards. And they're going to have some games where Justin Herbert throws for 150 yards, no touchdowns. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. What's going on?
8-9, 9-8, I think is very realistic for this team. And as you mentioned, I think the AFC got stronger around them. Even with a favorable schedule, I just think they're going to drop at least 4 in the division, right? And that doesn't put you off on the right, like it doesn't set you off on the right foot. Like losing 4 in the division at least is, I mean, we'll have to see. Teams have overcome that, but I think the Chargers are going to have a rough time this year making the playoffs. So
Yep. And they start off in Brazil too against the Chiefs. So tough matchup there to start off. We'll see what happens. But hey, I mean, no disrespect to the Chargers and their couple of fans that they have. Hopefully you guys have a good year. So
shout out the Bolts, man. Go Bolts fans. Any Bolts fans out there? I
Yeah.
hope you do better than this. But this is what we're predicting.
We mentioned last time about how I feel like I know a fan from every team except the Saints. I definitely don't know a Chargers fan either. Have you ever met a Chargers fan?
I do know a Chargers
Oh
fan.
my gosh, are you kidding me? That's
I'm not
crazy.
kidding you.
You want to give a shout out or what?
Yeah, Josh. Not he's a Chargers fan. So if
Josh, okay.
Josh listening, he's a Chargers
Josh, if
fan.
you're listening, um, go Bolts, man.
Go Bulls.
All right, can we just talk about another team now? I don't want to talk
But
about this next team either,
all right, we're talking about I think Vinny's favorite team in the NFL, the
but
Kansas
love
City
them.
Chiefs. Somehow finished with a 15-2 record a season ago.
Yeah,
Won
somehow.
the AFC East, made the Super Bowl again, lost to the Eagles, which I think a lot of people were
Happy.
overjoyed with. Yeah, when that
Yeah.
happened, because I think the big thing for the Chiefs last year was it wasn't even about like all the Kansas City Chiefs hate and the Patrick Mahomes hate. It was just the fact that they were not a 15-2 football team. And I think that is what made more people mad than anything. Is that okay? And obviously the Taylor Swift stuff too, but I'm not going to get into that. That was
No, that's like
separate.
2 years ago. 2 years
That's what I'm
ago.
saying. So last year was really just
That's
they were in
old
a lot
news.
of close games. They probably shouldn't have won as many as they did. So having a 15-2 record, it was kind of like because this was a down year for the Chiefs, and they were 15-2.
Yeah,
So it was
unbelievable.
mind-boggling. I don't know how it happened, but at the end of the day, they made it to the Super Bowl and they lost. Head coach Andy Reid has been there for 12 years. Uh, he's getting up there. Patrick Mahomes is going to be there. Obviously, I mean, there should be no change there unless he suffers a gruesome injury, which would really suck. In the draft, they go out and get a tackle out of Ohio State, Josh Simmons. He should slot in right away. Free agency brought over Gardner Minshew, a guy that we know and love on this channel. Minshew mania, baby. How could you not like him?
Yes.
Similar to like a Jameis Winston type guy, where we just love him.
Yeah.
He's just an awesome locker room guy. Aura.
And if Patrick Mahomes suffers a gruesome injury, Gardner Minshew is going to be the guy who you're going to see on the field. Like Connor was mentioning, could happen.
That's true. That's true. Defensive tackle Jerry Tillery comes over. Cornerback Christian Fulton. Defensive tackle Derek Gennady gets traded from the Jets, and then running back Elijah Mitchell comes over to back up, or whatever they're going to do with Isaiah Pacheco. I do think Pacheco should be the starter, but he did not look the same after he came back from the injury last year. But yeah, these are all for the most part. It's a lot of depth pieces. They did add a couple other guys, but no one that's really going to see the field too much unless there's a lot of gruesome injuries suffered this year. But who'd they lose in free agency in the offseason? Well, Carson Wentz, he's gone. I think he's now with Minnesota, actually, after another trade. Tackle DJ Humphries is gone. Wide receiver Mecole Hardman's gone. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is gone. And then the two biggest ones, I think, safety Justin Reed, he's out the door, and defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton. So those are kind of two players that made more of an impact than anybody a season ago. So lost some pieces on the defense, but as I mentioned, did bring over some other guys in free agency and some trades. So they basically balanced it out. I don't think there was really any big talent gaps from who you lost to who you brought in. So the Chiefs are looking pretty similar to how they looked a season ago, which is, I mean, take it as you will. It's either good or bad, however you want to see it. But we'll get into that in a little bit. The biggest note for them, star wide receiver Rashee Rice will not be playing the first 6 games of the season after his suspension, which I was surprised to see. When his hearing got pushed back to September 30th, I was almost in a situation where I was thinking he was going to be able to play the start of the season. They came out and, I think it was a couple days ago, and they said, you know what, no. Or last week, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. He's going to sit out the first 6 games. We don't want him playing and then getting suspended. Like, so they just got ahead of it, which I think is good for them. I think it's good for fantasy owners as well, which you don't have to worry about when's he going to be missing. It's definitely the first 6 games. He'll definitely be back afterwards. And this isn't, I feel like when players are missing games, if they're going to miss games no matter what, right, you want it to be for a suspension, not an injury, because suspension, he can still go out there, he can still work out, do all the drills he needs to do. He just can't play in the games. So gonna be a interesting spot to see what happens when he's gone. I mean, obviously, I think Xavier Worthy is going to be the guy the first 6 weeks, Vinny, if you agree. And then I don't know,
100%.
Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce's involved, I'm sure, but like
Yeah.
the Chiefs
Travis
offense,
Kelsey.
it's gonna be an interesting situation to start the year for sure. So, Vinny, what are your thoughts on this Chiefs team going into 2025?
Well, I mean, they're the Chiefs, right? they're gonna win their football games. They're gonna have a good year. The offense is still good. I mean, no Rashee Rice sucks, but I mean, it seems like the Chiefs, they've had guys every year, major injuries, stupid stuff like these suspensions. It always is going on in Kansas City, and there's always another guy that steps up in their absence. So I think Xavier Worthy in year 2 could, take a step forward and be the true wide receiver 1 here, and kind of he'll never give that back after he takes that this year. Patrick Mahomes, listen, Patrick Mahomes is he's a kind of a likable guy. Okay, when you look past all of the crap that goes on, like him getting all these calls, yeah, he's a little bit of a whiner, but I have no problem with Patrick Mahomes. Okay, but I'm sick of this, man. When is someone going to overtake Kansas City in the AFC? Because here's what this team has going for them: they could beat the Bills every year in the playoffs, and they could beat the Ravens, and they just, when it gets playoff time, they beat everyone.
They're built for the playoffs, man.
They are. Throw the regular season out the window. It's another one of those teams where just throw the regular season out the window. They'll be in the playoffs, although I do think they're going to have way tougher competition in division this year than they probably have had ever, I think, since Patrick Mahomes took over. Their division has been a cakewalk every single year. So I do think the Broncos are going to be a really tough test for Kansas City. And like you said, I do think they are a more balanced team than Kansas City. So I do predict a split there. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about the Chiefs? They're the Chiefs. They're gonna BS is gonna happen. So
and their defense, to their credit, their defense has gotten better, and we've seen their defense become, I mean, almost sort of more of the focal point of this team the last year or two, right? Where in the past, when they had Tyreek Hill there, it was, it was almost like a Bengals situation where, not to say the Chiefs defense was that bad, but it was the Chiefs offense was carrying them through games. They were putting up a lot of points, high shootouts, and that's how they were winning their football games. But then the last 2 years, especially last year, it was really that defense coming out and getting stops when they needed stops, turning the ball over, and getting the Chiefs into favorable situations where the Chiefs didn't have to go out and score 30-plus games. They could win a game scoring 20 points. And I think that's why I think they don't get enough credit for that, because yes, there's a ton of drama around the refs and Patrick Mahomes and all of that, but their defense definitely deserves more credit than I think they've gotten. So going to be an interesting season, but why don't we hop into records here, Vinny, and break down what we think is actually going to happen here in 2025.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say the Chiefs are going to be one of the elite teams in the AFC again. So I have them at 13-4, and that's not the 1 seed this year. So maybe they will get beaten in the playoffs on the road, maybe. But the other year they were the 1 seed, they won the Super Bowl. Or they weren't the 1 seed. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Shout out our cover player here, the ref. If you guys are watching this and not listening to it, it's a little detail there. Yeah, we'll go 13-4. I think it's pretty safe. No disrespect, they are a good football team, and shout out the defense too, because the defense goes out there and works really hard, and they don't get talked about because of all of the media attention towards Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all of that. The defense is what makes this team that good. So I just want to say that.
Yeah, and I have them at 13-4 as well. And Vinny, to a point you made earlier, where you said this wasn't going to be a cakewalk this year. I think when I was going through and making my, going through the schedule and breaking down every game and getting my records all figured out, I had the Broncos a game ahead of them. I think it was late in the season, like week 14, week 15. I think I had the Broncos a game ahead. So this Chiefs team, they're not going to be able to sail to the division title like they have in years past. I still think they're gonna end up winning it in the end, but who knows? Like if you get down there to week 16, week 17, maybe a couple guys are banged up, not 100%, right? I mean, you're gonna have to go out there and play. You can't rest them and say, okay, we're going to be the 1 seed and we don't have to worry about that. You're going to have to go out there and play hard, make sure you win that division, because if you don't, I mean, you're going to end up being outside of the top 4, and you don't want to go and play on the road, even though it seems like it doesn't matter for the Chiefs, but still, you would like to be at home at Arrowhead in front of your fans, and winning the division definitely gives you a huge advantage there, especially guaranteeing that you won't have to play a team like the Bills or the Ravens in the first round.
Yeah, I agree. So that's going to wrap up the AFC West. Chiefs on top once again, but a little bit closer this year.
I'm excited about this division. I think this is one of the more enticing divisions to watch this year in football. Even looking past the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think the Chargers are still a team that, I mean, the record wise, they're 1-2 games out of the Broncos. And if we have the Broncos and Chiefs that close, the Chargers are right there too. So,
Yeah.
And the Raiders, I mean, there's a lot of
Raiders are
fun young potential with them as well.
Yeah.
So, they're always up for an upset or two during the season.
This is the most interesting this division has been in a very long time.
Agreed. And I think it all stems from the Broncos because we've seen the Chargers kind of be that second team, but now the Broncos are like better than the Chargers when the Chargers have been that second team. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chargers have been the second team and they've been there, but they haven't really been there. But now the Broncos are the second team and they're there. Like they're right on the Chiefs' heels, and I think this division could honestly go either way.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with you. So looking forward to seeing that. But that is going to wrap us up today for the AFC West. We only have one more preview episode. That's going to be the NFC West, obviously. So fans of the NFC West teams, we are finally going to be getting to. We're saving the best for last. Maybe not, but it is a fun division, though. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty mediocre division, too, but... we're going to be getting to that. I don't know whenever this is posted, that'll be posted the day after, whether it's today or tomorrow or Wednesday or whenever it is. But we'll decide.
Before Thursday.
Before Thursday, for sure. Definitely before Thursday. Make sure to follow us on all of our social medias. And if you haven't yet, join the VinConn Sports Talk Pick'em.
Please.
Because we want to get as many people in there as possible. Instead of just me and Connor predicting every game of the NFL season, we're going to have you guys hop on that as well. It's on ESPN Fantasy. I'm going to be posting a link, another link on my story if you guys didn't, or on our story, I should say, if you guys didn't get a chance to join. If you do join, make sure just to put your name so we know who you are.
So we can shout you out.
I'm shouting out Cowboys every week. I know there's someone named Cowboys every week. I actually know exactly who you are. Just so I guess it's fine. But yeah, if you're new, just put your full name. Make sure to make your picks every Thursday, or at least pick the Thursday night game on Thursday if that's how you want to do it. But yeah, make your picks before Sunday at 1 so we have a fair game here. And who knows, you'll be getting a shout out if you do good. You'll be getting a shout out if you do bad. So we're gonna get you guys involved here on the podcast. So that's exciting. So yeah, Connor, it's any final thoughts on the AFC West before we wrap this up?
I'm just excited for football, man.
You are. That's always your answer.
Because that's all I can say. That's all I can say, man. We're 3 days out.
3 days.
We're 3 days out. I can't wait to sit down on Thursday and just watch.
Just watch.
An absolute masterpiece of a game.
It is going to be a good. Well, it might not be that good of a game, but we'll see.
But it's Eagles Cowboys. It's going to be.
It's still fun. Yeah. Once that calendar turns over to September, that's when it starts to get really real. Like we're almost here. So the NFL season's about to start. But like I said, stay tuned for the NFC West, and then back to our regularly scheduled programming for the entirety of the NFL season. So thank you guys for listening today, and we'll talk to you next time.